Hi friends, in the Space and Universe series, we already learnt from how did our universe begin to how did this Earth form and how did the very first living thing emerge. If you haven't watched any of them, all the video links are in description for you. In this video, let's learn the man who lived by hunting like other creatures till then, how is it turned different from other organisms? How did civilizations form? What were the reasons that led to it? And many interesting things like this. All right, before we start, let's get clarified on current timestamp. Many people have a doubt that since this is year 2024, now running for us, then what is this, 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago mean? How could they say that? Let's know about it simply. For this we call the era of before Christ. It means before the birth of Christ and after the birth. In English it is called BC and AD. BC means before Christ, AD means Anno Domini. But many people say that AD means after death. They think that after Christ is dead, but it is wrong. The years are counted back to before the birth of Christ, like 100, 99, 98, and so on. And the years are counted forward from the birth of Christ, like 1, 2, 3, and so on. For example, 5000 BC means 5,000 years before the birth of Christ, plus 2024 after the birth of Christ. So 5000 BC today means 7,024 years. Also, 10,004 years ago can be said as 8,000 BC. But this system has become an international standard. The whole world will follow it. All right, so now, in the process of transformation from primitive man to modern man, some very important events turn a man's life around. If inventing fire is one important thing, then agriculture is another important thing. Till then, 4 or 5 people hunted together, and people used to migrate to wherever, and their lives were happened without any homes or destination. They were completely used to migrate to different places for food and shelter. And for the first time, 10,000 years ago, human learnt to farm. Places suitable for agriculture are riverbanks. These rivers not only provide plenty of water, but also make the area fertile. Those areas became suitable for agriculture. After learning agriculture, it will not be possible to migrate. They had to stay there until the harvest, so they built small settlements there. Thus, the population started growing along the rivers. Thus, civilization started. The civilizations that have formed in this world are all formed along rivers. For the first time in this world, approximately 10,000 years ago, in the area where the country of Iraq is now, like flowing, the first civilization started between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. That is Mesopotamia civilization. The word Mesopotamia itself has a meaning, that is, rivers surrounded by the land. Since the population was small then, once a crop was planted, it would last many people for a long time. There was no need for everyone to do agriculture with it. So people get a lot of time. In that free time, humans started learning new things, like making tools, making pottery, and not just agriculture. No matter how many new tools or inventions were discovered, the harvest in those days was real wealth. So they used to preserve everyone's crop in one place so that the crop do not get spoiled. They started writing to track how much the crop brought. In those days, they used to write on soft clay. And for the first time, writing was invented in Mesopotamia. In this way, they developed a writing system called cuneiform, an army to protect the crops preserved like this, an administration to maintain all these properly, and leaders to rule slowly arose one by one. Later, man slowly improved the animals and started breeding them. Until then, he was plowing the field by himself. After that, the work became easier with animals. In this way, wherever a man goes, he makes his work easier. So far, animals have been bested by man. If there is any animal that has fueled human civilization and development, it is the horse. Horses have been very influential in human history. Until then, the person who walks far reaches faster. Also in wars, the role of horses is very visible. Moreover, historians believe that it was Mesopotamia that invented the wheel. Not only this, but counting time, writing, researching about space, and really many more have been invented by this Mesopotamia civilization. You know what? Judiciary, politics, and legality were also started in Mesopotamia. Thus, as the population grew along the rivers, their settlements were developed to cities. And slowly, 6,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, cities like Uruk, Babylon, Akkad, Ashur were formed. Even in the cities thus formed, there were disputes and wars about boundaries. All right, while the Mesopotamian civilization was developing on the one hand, on the other hand, approximately 7,000 years ago in Egypt, Egyptian civilization started by the Nile River. Almost like Mesopotamia, civilization started and developed here. Here they believed that kings become gods after death. The body was mummified so that it would not be damaged. A big pyramid is built for them even after they die. Things like food, water, gold ornaments needed by that king, used by that king when he was alive. Eventually, the pets were buried with them all. Building such a big pyramid in those days when there was no technology, even after thousands of years have passed. It is truly a miracle to have lasted so far. Along with this civilization of Egypt, on the other hand, a great civilization started. That is the Indus Valley civilization. The Indus Valley civilization started right next to the Indus River, which now flows through India and Pakistan. This Indus River is also known as Indus Valley Civilization. Indus Valley Civilization was bigger than Mesopotamia and Egypt, which had formed earlier. The Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa civilization was established along this river. This was the most advanced civilization at that time. Even thousands of years ago, every house had a well. There were also toilets and drainage system. A large bathtub is a brick structure. It is understandable how advanced this civilization is. If not, the reason is unknown, but this civilization was so great. It was destroyed after a few hundred years. Perhaps the floods from the Indus River would have destroyed these cities. That is why the people here must have left this area, historians estimate. On the one hand, these three civilizations are developing. On the other hand, a separate civilization was formed in China. This civilization was started next to China's Yellow River. But with the Himalayas straddling the middle, the China civilization remained virtually isolated. All right, till now we have learned about 4 civilizations. We know that America is now a very developed country. But back then, civilization was very backward in the beginning. Maya civilization in what is now formed then in Mexico. And civilizations like Aztec, Maya, and Inca were formed. But the thing is, they don't even know how to tame animals and how to use wheel, and hence, they are a little behind. But they were a little more accurate in calculating the time by the Mayan calendar. In all civilizations, what we can see in common is that people used sun, fire, water, lightning, and wind were worshipped as gods. Whatever civilization we take in the past, it can be seen that the sun is in the sign related to their history. Big floods, storms, and lightning, if there were fire accidents, it was believed that the gods got angry. As a part of it, in case of any customs or difficulties arise, then people offered some of the harvested crop to the gods as a sign of gratitude. The same devotion and gratitude and worships to God is still carried out to this current generation. This is unbelievable and unforgettable. We must say, the early civilizations were very intelligent and visionary. The desire to inform the future generations about their life is seen strongly in the man at that time. That is why every civilization reflects their life. Buildings, sculptures, and paintings built by them are visible. It is because of them that we are able to know the history of that time. We don't know the exact reason, but few civilizations that flourished for thousands of years have become extinct. Some reason could be due to terrible, uncontrollable diseases, wars, famines, natural disasters. Many great civilizations have perished due to such reasons. Finally, we have to accept that agriculture has turned the hunter-gatherer wild human into a gentle man. Agriculture has brought people together and made a reason for making homes and forming civilizations. Agriculture made the migrating man to stop and stay at a place and gave a family, a house, a village, a civilization, which is what has been taken towards the development. And today, we underestimate such agriculture. We should not forget that agriculture is the foundation of human development. And in the name of development, we are destroying the same foundation now. Let me tell you something. Just imagine human history without the chapter of agriculture. The man who is covering himself with cotton and silk materials and inserting shirts inside his pants may not have born yet, and probably we might still be covering ourselves with leaves or animals' skin. We might still be the people who roams around without a civilization and eating raw meat and living on hunting. Okay, friends, in this series we learned from the beginning of the universe to the formation of civilization. If you don't want to miss such more interesting videos, please subscribe to our channel. Let's learn together.